Determine the number of solutions. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify my least common denominator. Since the denominators are completely unique factors, my least common denominator is going to be the two factors multiplied together. Now I'm going to take my least common denominator and multiply each term by the least common denominator. So I started out with m over 3m minus 5. I'm going to multiply the top by 3m minus 5 times 4m plus 5 because that's my least common denominator. On the other side of my equal sign, I had m minus 9 over 4m plus 5. Again, I'm going to multiply by the least common denominator. Okay, because whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other to keep it equal. Now I'm going to go back and cancel anything that's in common in the numerator and denominator. So on this side I have 3m minus 5 in common. On this side I have 4m plus 5 in common. Okay, now I'm going to multiply what's left over. So I have m times 4m gives me 4m squared. I have m times 5 gives me 5m. Then I have m times 3m is 3m squared. M times negative 5 is negative 5m. Negative 9 times 3m is negative 27m. And negative 9 times negative 5 is positive 45. Okay, now I'm going to notice that there are two m squareds, one on each side. I have two terms that have m squared. So I'm going to move my terms to the other side. So I'm going to subtract this 3m squared from both sides. So I end up with m squared plus 5m equals, on this side if I combine like terms, I have negative 5 and negative 27 is negative 32m plus 45. Okay. At this point I can actually determine the number of solutions. Since I noticed that when I combined my m squareds, they're not going to cancel out. So I'm going to have an m squared or a quadratic polynomial. So if it's quadratic, I'm going to end up factoring it into two unique factors, which means I'm going to have a total of two solutions. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this so I can verify that my guess is correct. So I'm going to add 32 to both sides, 32m. And I'm also going to subtract 45. So on this side I have m squared plus 37m minus 45 equals 0. Okay, so because I have m squared, or I have a quadratic polynomial, I'm going to have two solutions.